What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to an all-new ADSR live stream here on a Wednesday. If you don't know, my name is Techno, and I am here every single Wednesday on the ADSR channel. And we like to do this fun thing called the production challenge, where you all get to submit music, take on a specific prompt or a challenge, get some feedback on your music, and then also have the chance to win cool prizes. So that's what we're here doing tonight. It's going to be a fun evening, or for some of you it's morning, I guess. Maybe it's the middle of the day, who can say. But get ready to sit back, relax, grab a beverage of choice, and we're going to listen to some cool music from some independent artists, producers from all around the world, from our very community, which comes together on this channel, of course. Which, if you're not subscribed, what's going on? Subscribe to the channel and make sure notifications are turned on. But also, don't forget to join the Discord, because that is where all the challenge submissions are submitted. But that's also where everybody in the ADSR community is hanging out, chatting, giving each other feedback, just having a good time. So make sure you're part of the Discord, because I want you to participate in future challenges if you haven't yet. 909 Day is quickly approaching, so this week's challenge to celebrate 909 Day, and I see for some of you it may already be 909 Day. Actually, it's currently the 8th of September where I am, but for some of you it may be the 9th. So we're obviously celebrating the Roland TR-909, very famous drum machine, and this week's challenge was to create a track, kind of an ode to the 909, so using lots of 909 sounds. So that is what we're going to be listening to today, a lot of tracks inspired by the 909. We will also have a challenge 2 weeks from now. We do them kind of every other week, and I'll tell you what the next challenge is, but first I want to say hello to everybody in chat. So you can all be honored for being here. Suru, thank you for being here. Drunk Bishop, Rashane, Larry Boy, Musical, Joseph McCaffrey even in chat. Amazing. He has no power here though. Sub-Zero, Amelia S, Michael G, my mom and dad are in chat. Watch out, JML is here. Thank you all. I feel like I'm calling attendance. And my friend from Japan, thank you for being here as well. I'm sorry I cannot read that alphabet, but thank you for joining from all the way from Japan. It's amazing. I'm so happy to have you all. Reigns Phoenix, hello, welcome. So yes, this week's challenge, make a beat with 909, an ode to the 909, and I should also say, let me show this real quick. We give away prizes every week to the top 3 kind of standout entries. So that includes, first of all, you get a cool glow of production challenge finalist or winner in the Discord. Second of all, you get a $100 ADSR store gift card, so you can get yourself some sounds. Third is, if you are the number 1 that we select, the ultimate standout, 1 lucky entry will win Soundweaver this week. Soundweaver by Boom Interactive. Soundweaver automates and randomizes certain parts of your sound design workflow. Soundweaver automatically picks, slices, aligns, and layers sounds, create more, and skip the busy work. I think it's cool. It's going to be a helpful way to add some cool ear candy to some of your tracks, maybe help automate some of the tedious parts of your process. So 1 lucky winner today will be going home with Soundweaver. Not so much lucky. I guess they will have earned it, of course, because they will be our standout submission today. But that is all the more reason that you should be thinking about entering these challenges that we do every other week. There's no what harm could it do? You're going to be pushing yourself to be a better producer. You're going to be part of a cool community, and you have the chance to win either gift card or to the store or a cool prize. So next week's, or for the next 2 weeks, the challenge will be to write a track in 6/8, a 6/8 time signature. Now, if you don't know what that means, or if that scares you, or if you feel weird about it, don't worry about it, because at the end of today's stream, towards the end, after we review everybody's tracks, I'm going to break it down for you. What is a 6/8 time signature, how to work with it, and how to not be so scared about it if you are. Which, if you are slightly scared about it, that's a good thing. You should run towards this challenge. Things that scare you creatively, you should run towards. It's how you will grow as a creative person, as a musician, all that. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the stream, because I'm going to open up Ableton Live and start working on a track in 6/8 and break down for you what that even means, a time signature of 6/8. So Here we go. We are going to start actually by pausing the background music, and I am going to take a look at 3 entries first that I would like to give feedback to. So these are not our finalists, but these are 3 entries that I just wanted to acknowledge and maybe pass along a little bit of feedback, because part of this is, you know, celebrating the strong entries of the community. The other part is giving some feedback to some people who might want feedback. So that's what we're going to start with, giving some feedback first and foremost. And I do hope you all can join me in, you know, saying some nice things about the tracks, but then also maybe 2 cents here and there in the most respectful way possible. That would be great. So the first track I want to give some feedback to is by a producer named Microlag with a track called 909. This is a short one. Just want to check it out for a bit. It's a little bit spooky too. So like I said, this one is spooky. This would be a good Beattober beat, perhaps. Good use of the drums. Very cool fills, by the way. Because here comes more, I believe. I really love that tom sound. So I'm listening to this track, and my main thought is, it's got cool elements. I like the spooky element of it, but it's missing a certain width and a certain depth to it in its mix. We have a lot of very high and bright sounds, and we've got that almost like dubstep-ish kind of Skrillex-esque bass instrument, which is cool, but I'm not hearing much low end. I'm hearing very bright things. I do hear the kick and the toms sound nice and thick, but everything else is sort of in this bright to mid to high kind of range. So I would think of, how can you thicken that up more? I would think that bass sound being more of a proper bass and having some low end in it would make it a more kind of thick sound that you want to go for. That is the term I keep coming back to, thickness. So make that bass a little bit more robust, I would say. Try to fill out that mid range as well, which can get very dangerous too for the mix. So it's kind of like, it sounds like you might have carved out a bunch of the mids to avoid any mixing issues, but don't overdo it for sure. But I think it's very spooky. Don't get too crazy with like your harmony and stuff, but I think the chords that you use, they shine here, are really good for setting up like a creepy kind of mood. But just fill it out a little more. It's sounding a bit thin, where I think it should sound much more full. So that's by Microlag 909. If you do want to go support the artist today, just head over to their SoundCloud. That would be really great if we could all kind of connect with each other. Hi, Diana. Thank you for joining us today. I'm so glad you could be here. I am well, and I hope you are well. I hope everything's going well with the new semester. Bryant says, I was on the Techno channel wondering why I could not find the stream. Getting late. Yes, on Wednesdays we are here with ADSR, but on Thursdays, you know where to find me. Over on my channel. So thank you, that's Microlag with that. Before, I have 2 more tracks I want to do some feedback for, but I also wanted to just honorably mention the Google Doodle today. Let me show it to you. I think I can do that without doxing myself. The Google Doodle today is a tribute to Avicii. It's his 32nd birthday, or would have been his 32nd birthday. So, shout out. Just watch it. It's a quick video, like I think it's under a minute or it's just over a minute. But it's a nice little video. And I think it's cool to see somebody from our community, our electronic music community, honored like that. And may he rest in peace. Just wanted to give that a quick shout out because I noticed that today. Watch the Google Doodle. All right, let's keep on rolling. I want to give feedback to a couple more tracks. This next one is actually by somebody who is definitely in the chat right now. I want to give some feedback to our friend Sub-Zero. Let's give a listen. Sub-Zero says they went into the challenge thinking they would make a techno beat, but decided to lean more to the chill hop type of track. which was not a bad idea. And I think the logic there of like, all right, everybody's probably going to make a techno track, was probably not a bad idea to try to do something out of the box. But I have some feedback on the execution. First of all, the effect you put on the drums to make the 909 sound lo-fi, very good. But the first piece of feedback that I have in mind strikes me right away is with that melody, right? Just listen back to that melody. Dun, 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 dun. So everything in this track is very straight. There's no syncopation. There's no rhythms playing off each other. It's very like straight, like to the metronome essentially. And of course here in this section, it gets a little bit better, but even because the shaker saves it a little bit, but the shaker is likely, maybe it's a sample or maybe you sequenced it. But even the bass line, listen. Everything is very cleanly syncing up with the metronome. So I just definitely say you want to sort of vary your rhythms a little bit too, because those chords are coming in nice and straight, all that stuff. So something I want you to keep in mind. The other thing is like this record scratching sound that's happening in like my left ear, I think for the most part, not a huge fan of that. I think it kind of distracts from your main melody. However, I do think this is a noble attempt to do something different with the 909s. I think you should continue, and maybe even if you liked working with the 909s, you should try to continue making lo-fi music with the 909s, because I think it's a very good sound for this genre that people often associate with techno. But yeah, like you can see how you really get a nice lo-fi quality out of them. There is also that super high-pitched noise. I'd be very, very careful about doing that too. Overall, when we get to this part, it sounds like a video game. Like it sounds like an island level in the Crash Bandicoot or something. And that's what the scratch reminds me of, Crash Bandicoot spinning. And if you just had, like, this is not a bad foundation, but one melody on top, not the melody from before, that's very straight, but one more soaring melody, a melody you could sing. I think that's a lot of the benefit of like people that are singers writing melodies, but a melody that you could sing or hum along with to this that is a bit more syncopated, it does flow a bit more, and it's not just straight on with the time, would kind of be a nice addition on top of this very straight, solid foundation. So something to think about. All those things, of course, perhaps you'll incorporate them into your creative process, or perhaps you'll say, nope, I'm sticking to my style, which that is your prerogative. But maybe some of my words could be helpful. But Sub-Zero, I do appreciate you submitting and keep going. It was a very good thinking to switch things up genre-wise. So thank you for that. Yes, it was a good point to talk about mental health. Check in on your friends, check in on your family members. Or if you just need to check in with people, we also have a great Discord community here. So if you find it hard to connect with other people, especially around music topics, our ADSR Discord is probably a good place to meet like-minded people who are all working towards similar goals. All right, one more entry that I want to give some feedback for is by Dean. It's got a TR-909 ADSR challenge, shorter. Approximately 3-hour project to highlight TR-909 for this year's 909. Right away, I'll say good use in the 909 because it sounds like Phil Collins. What is it also? It reminds me of something else too, but I can't put my finger on it. Oh, is that MV Beckham over in the Twitch chat? Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. So yeah, this track, the musical ideas are pretty strong. I like the chord progression. I really like the drum beat. Couple things though, it's almost suffering the same issue as the first one, where there's this very high, bright synth, and then there's this bass thing that's, I think, like floating back and forth, like oscillating between my ears, but it's not even quite a bass. there's no solid low end here. Like I'm yearning for like a sub bass to round out the bottom of this chord progression and this harmony. This melody is very strong. Dun, dun, dun. That descending thing is also very strong, but there's nothing like holding it down. Like some of these chord instruments, they gotta just be like dead set in the middle. You think of it as like the piano player or the rhythm guitar player in a band. It's just like chords that are just like kind of here in the middle. Bass line needs to round out the root note of those chords, and then you can have nice melodies and stuff on top. But if you have nothing in the middle and you just kind of have kind of this area over here, the high to mid stuff, it's going to sound kind of empty. And you have a very strong chord progression. You have a very strong drum beat. Let's get some solid bass in there. Let's fill out that mid section with some nice thicker chords, and it would take this track to the next level for sure. But I do highly appreciate, like, especially the description, 3-hour project. Like, if you got 3 hours to work on some music and just like make something cool and you want to participate in the challenge, I think this is a great example of like, you don't have to be putting together like freaking bangers every week. Like anything you put together, just push yourself to do the challenge and work within the limitations of the challenge will help you anyway. Like I'm sure Dean likely just learned something about production through doing this. And then also this is the start of what could be a really great tune, really great production. So there's value in it, in entering the production challenge is what I'm saying. Even if you you don't think you're going to win or something. So personally, I like it a bunch. It's got good synthwave chops. Yes, for sure. I think it definitely does have good synthwave chops for sure. Oh, Dean is in the Facebook chat. Hello, Dean. Hitcho is spot on. I pined for the solid low end as I listened. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, like a solid sub bass would actually take this to the next level for sure. And that's such a simple change. Oh, and it was Dean's first entry. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Dean. I'm sorry I missed the Facebook chat. It's on my other screen. But Dean, I appreciate that entry. Thank you. Please keep entering the production challenge because this was a very good entry. And I like your MIDI controller. Very cool. Okay, so that was 3 good entries that I just wanted to give feedback for. We want to do a balance of like showcasing some strong entries. And then, not that these weren't strong, but also showcasing some entries that we can provide feedback for, which I'll provide feedback for all the tracks, no matter what. Anyway, so what I want to do now is I'm going to bring forward 3 entries from this week that I felt were standout tracks, that I thought they took on the challenge, did something cool. Does this by any means mean that these were the best mixed, best composed, best arranged, best produced tracks of the week? No, it doesn't. It's just a variety of reasons. We try to pick some standouts. We try to, first of all, spread the love. We also try to just pick some standouts for a slew of different reasons. You know, we're all on our production journeys. We're all in different places on our production journeys. If we only celebrated artists or producers that enter that are making like Billboard level tunes, like, I don't know, that just kind of defeats the purpose. That's not what we're here to do. We're just here to honor some strong entries in the community, and what strong means we'll get into as we review them anyway. So just going to say that. And there were lots of strong entries this week, by the way. This was actually one of our strongest weeks, I would say. So we can't always pick everybody. So I apologize. There were lots of strong entries. Don't feel down if like you didn't get picked or anything, because like I said, we do this every other week and we do try to spread the love. So without further ado, I do want to give a listen to Tiankong Xia with Thinking About You. Let's give a listen to this. Our first standout entry of the week. Winner of a $100 ADSR store card. This rolling kick is cool. I like the use of the vocal in this one for sure. Really, really good break there. Really good use of that acapella. Please give it some love. The link is in the chat. Go give a follow to our friend here. It's interesting because you don't normally hear that rolling kick in a super melodic track like this. Talk about the track once it's over. I'll let it play out. Great. Abrupt ending. You guys... First of all, this happens with all so many of the entries across the board. It just ends. Y'all just end your tracks. Give me an ending. Give me one last hit. Give me a fade out, something, please. But that's not specific to this track. I feel like that's kind of universal. But okay, one of the reasons I want to choose this as standout, it has a very good arrangement. So despite the fact that musically, it's not reinventing the wheel, which is not really what I care about anyway. But very, very good composition and arrangement here. Very good use of sections, very good use of building and building. You can see that just by looking at the wave, right? You can see that it builds up. This break right here, which we really like, which we'll talk about in a minute, very good and sets up that first kind of harder drop. And then it just gets nice and thick there to the end. I kept talking about the rolling kick, which is that. So it is a 4 to the floor kick, but with a delay on it. I would just say be careful about that in your mix. You don't want those kind of slapback kick rhythms to get too muddy in your low end. So just be careful of that. Again, I think the acapella vocal sample is a very good way to do this. I do think you could have taken it a little bit further out, especially towards the end. Let's listen to this really quick. Good. Just want to analyze that real quick because I saw somebody in the chat say I got to get better at doing that. So we enter into this section coming off of a 4 to the floor kick, high energy section. We come to a section where the kick drops out, right? I'm counting 2, 3, 4. So about an 8-bar section, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there's an extra bar where the drums just drop out. The reason that's so effective is because we go from hearing a lot, building up to what we think is going to be boom, high energy, and then taking everything away for a moment is just like this. It's almost like a physiological effect in our ears of subverting expectation. And then once we hit that hard drop again, it's very, very effective. This is not that. This is we hear this in music all the time. So if you're struggling with putting this in your music, copy this technique exactly. Build this section that takes everything away, slowly starts to build everything up over 8 bars, and then in that last bar, take everything out and just have one small melodic element, and then do your drop. Flawless. It works every time. I want to know. So listen to this section. This sounds like a pretty high energy section, right? But if I skip forward to here, besides the new synth that entered, the other thing you hear is this other, it could be an open hi-hat or it could be a shaker. Jump back. It just entered here with that crash. That really does a lot for the song, because what mostly happens where most arrangements fall short is they kind of just repeat their high energy sections and don't build on it because they feel like it's full enough. But what this track did is very smart. is it took this very full drop section, just added one more high energy element, those shaker slash whatever it is, we'll call it a shaker for now, and it just does so much to add energy. And that is what is important when you're doing a track like this. Like, the basic harmony of the track doesn't change, the progression doesn't really change, the melody doesn't change all that much, but it still progressively builds energy. So that's what makes this a strong arrangement. And then to drop everything out here at the end, what makes it not a strong arrangement is the way it ends. Just like all of a sudden, just give me a little fade at the end. I'm not saying fade your track out, but like have that last hit and then give me a couple seconds in the track at the end. Just something to think about. Okay. That was a great entry. Thank you so much. Congratulations to Tiankong Chia. You are going home today with the glow of production challenge winner in the Discord, as well as a $100 ADSR store credit to get yourself some cool new sounds. Let's keep going because we have a couple more entries. This next entry is pretty strong. I kind of wanted to cover bases in terms of I guess in terms of genre or like interpretations of the challenge, you could say. I don't really know. But nonetheless, this next entry is by actually an artist that we've heard before on the stream. I thought this was a very strong entry and a very slightly different take on a 909 challenge. But this is our friend Steven Scholes. Let's give a listen. Of course, we get to follow along with the DAW here too, so let's check it out. I'm going to pretend that I'm clicking on things and that I made the track. Oh, just put this over here. Yep. And I'm going to click on this. Just a very clean mix, as you'll hear as we go throughout it. Very cool, like hard 80s vibe. Sounds Phil Collins-ish. It's that gated reverb on the snare. We got the 909s loaded up here in battery, as you can see. This is gonna be in the like Vice City remastered soundtrack or something. It's a full-on soundtrack, to be honest. Get to the finish line here. Hey, did you see it coming? Did you see it coming? There we go. Very effective key change there at the end. I want to run this back a little bit. Obviously, there are a lot of obvious reasons that this is a standout. This is obviously a very solidly mixed track. I guess I can jump a little bit forward to the end. So one of the things I really like about this, other than all the glaringly obvious things, is that it uses 909, and you might not say, oh, this is like a 909 track, you know, like it breaks the mold of like, oh, it's a 909 challenge, do a techno track. Obviously you don't need to do that, much like Sub-Zero came to the conclusion of as well. And this takes those 909s and puts them in this hard-hitting 80s cool track, you know, in a very good way. They're super hard-hitting. I know a lot of people are saying Phil Collins, Miami Vice, all that. It's so cool because it's like a modern take on those things. It doesn't necessarily sound like it's from the 80s. It sounds super clean like a modern production, but still doing justice to that era. So I think that that's really great. I want to point out also, I want you just to take a look at the transitions. It's actually super awesome that we have the ability to look at this project file. Just pay attention to these transitions. Obviously, that cowbell transition is pretty funny. I don't know that I would do that as a composer, but I think that it works here, especially since it is a 909 challenge. I just don't want you to forget when you're doing transitions and things like that. Of course, we hear a crash on every like big downbeat because we're using a traditional drum set here, but also there are these little reverse sounds that go a long way in building up drama and create those transitions, make those transitions even better. So you have these short ones that are kind of lower, and then you have this longer one that is more of like a traditional riser. Just listen for them again one more time and pay attention to what they sound like and see how they create like a much cooler transition than if they were not there. So doing those into each entry is very cool. You'll also see it happen in the middle of the hook leading up to the second half of the hook. Right here, tom fill, and then just creates that little nice piece of drama. So anything you can do to add those nice little bits and pieces, because it would have been really easy to just lay out this like 16 bar hook and not have those little things in there. But those little things are what help keep it fresh. And then we don't have to talk much about the key change. Did we do a challenge with the key change, or am I imagining that? I feel like we definitely did. But when you want to extend a song that is really strong, you want one more hook, you do basically the same thing as the last song. You make a nice little dramatic like transition section, and then for your final hook, for your final hook, just lead right up to it, and then boom. And it's so effective, right? It's just so refreshing on the ears. I mean, it's like when you take one of your own tracks. Like if you take one of your own tracks and you just transpose the whole thing after you've been working on it for hours, you're going to be like, wow, this sounds so much better. It doesn't necessarily sound so much better. It just sounds very refreshing on your ears, and it's very effective as the last hook of a tune like this. So good job to our friend Steven Scholes. $100 ADSR store credit coming your way. Like I said, friends, if you're not entering these challenges, what the heck are you doing? You can only win. Okay, my friends, the time has come. I am going to show you the ultimate standout this week, the one that I've chosen as the standout, the one that I feel captured the essence of the 909 challenge the most, the one that will be going home with a $100 ADSR store voucher, as well as the Soundweaver plugin, a $200+ value, and it is much deserved. I think you will all agree with me. We've actually heard this producer's music before on this stream, but I could not deny the quality of this entry. Please lend your ears to the musical stylings of our friend Don Omar. Now, this just hits it quintessentially. The 90s pop thing. I think fantastic encapsulation of a genre here. nice little B section here. Up to this big celebratory ending here. Don Omar, shout out to you. Thank you, of course, for putting that little fade out in the end too. Another great entry by Don Omar. First of all, the track starts. I want to just point this out because one of the strengths is that intro, right? The track starts and it's like you could go a dark direction, right? Like it sounds kind of dark, right? Could have been a dark techno vibe. This bass line comes in, you're still not sure. But as it builds up, it becomes this quintessential 90s pop. I think Don Omar nailed it with some of these references. Technotronic, Madonna, Whitney Houston. The reason I think this is such a standout is because it's such a good analysis of that genre, taking all those elements, really nailing them. Like everything from the vocal sample, the piano sound, the certain types of sounds that are used. And I also think there's like a little bit of modern flair in there. Like even if you listen back to that transition, listen to that little stuttery transition, you would not hear, I don't think, check me on this, folks who are a little more like maybe proficient in 90s sort of style pop, I don't think you would hear that kind of stuttery synth entrance in a 90s track. I think that's much more of an earmark of modern production, but I think with the anchor of this all being so well executed in terms of 90s pop, adding a little modern flair is what takes it up a level for sure. Michael G says Pet Shop Boys influence. I don't know the Pet Shop Boys, but interesting. But yes, you can hear how different melodies get passed around from the string line that comes into the vocal sample, as well as having that darker B section is very nice too. Very well laid out track, very high energy. And we know that Don Omar always brings the quality. I think that was great. This is more sold gold era. Y'all are saying things I don't understand, but peace and love. You're probably right. So the other thing I wanted to point out was a melody entrance. Because again, like the last one, there are a lot of obviously good things, but I want to point out some things that maybe were not caught. Oh yeah, it's before that. Oh yeah, here it is. So originally, we just have strings doing that like octave thing. Pay attention to when the strings enter though. They enter a bar before, or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Yeah, they enter about a bar before. Something you should think about for your tracks too. Oftentimes we build our sections just because of the way a lot of us make music with like loops and chunks. All of our entrances are like on a downbeat, or they at least come after a downbeat when a section starts. A very good execution here. Very common in lots of different genres, including disco and stuff, is that string line where it comes in as a pickup being it comes in before the downbeat. If you have a cool new melody or a new sound coming in, instead of having it boom come in land on a downbeat, why not create a pickup for it so that it leads into it from the previous section? That's also it's not only going to help, it's not only just a cool way to mix things up, but it's also going to help the transition between the sections of your track. Think about it. We need to educate this boy. Maybe we'll have like a day of we'll have a stream of like I have to listen to all these classic artists, perhaps. I was not throwing shade on the Pet Shop Boys, by the way. I was literally just saying I'm unaware. But thank you, Don Omar. This is a great entry. The thing that I would say, the one piece of feedback I have is just check the mix. I think some of these levels could be honed in a little bit better. I think some things are popping out a little bit more. I think the bass is aggressively mono, which might be appropriate for the era in the genre, but I kind of want a thicker, wider bass for some reason, low frequency. But Don Omar, fantastic entry. You were the standout today, so you're going home with copy of Soundweaver, as well as a $100 ADSR store voucher. So, congrats to you. Thank you. Congrats to all the entries. Congrats to everybody that entered and took on the challenge and pushed yourself. I'm sure you all earned something out of it, learned something, had at least fun making something, all that good stuff. Maybe you learned about something about the 909s. But we have a little bit of time left, and I want to talk to you about next week's challenge. And I believe we have more plugins for a prize next week. So next week, or not next week, 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to work on this challenge. So what is your excuse for not entering? So we're going to be working. The challenge is to create a beat in a 6/8 time signature. I'm going to explain what that is. Don't panic. But the prizes will be our usual $100 ADSR voucher, along with, for one standout, we'll of course win Drumazon, cool drum machine, as well as Phaserton 2. These are plugins by D16. So if you need to get yourself a cool, controllable space phaser or an awesome drum machine for your plugin collection, please go ahead and do that. Make sure you enter into the new production challenge. It's in 2 weeks. I'm going to talk to you about exactly what you need to do in one moment. But also, as was just stated in chat, the new 909 pack dropped. Make sure you head over to the ADSR site and pick it up if you haven't yet to celebrate 909 Day. If you do use it in your social media, make sure you tag ADSR. If you make a cool video with 909 samples or anything like that, would love to hear it. But hey, it's 909 Day, so head to the ADSR store, especially if you were one of those winners of the voucher. But yes, cool prizes for the next production challenge, which once again is to work in a 6/8 time signature. What the heck does that even mean? Fear not, I am here to help make it not so scary. So I use Ableton Live, maybe use a different DAW, but regardless of what DAW you use, you probably have some way of controlling the tempo and the time signature. Let me take a look up here. Oh, is that not how this works? Up here, please. Okay, that's as good as I can get it. Oh, I can go bigger. All right, up here. Oh, gosh. I can make it work. So this is my tempo, which I'm going to set to be much slower for the purposes of this demonstration. 90 beats per minute is fine. And right here is my time signature. Now, if I turn on the metronome, you're going to hear a very familiar sound. Well, you're not going to hear it because I need to set my sound card so that you can hear it. But you're going to hear that very familiar click track. A 4-beat pattern, right? Where the first beat is higher pitch and the next 3 beats are lower pitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that's because we are in 4/4. Let me just draw in a little MIDI bar, 1 bar of music, right? Let's really break this down. 1 bar of music, which is in this time signature, 4 beats. So if I draw 4, little markers here that would essentially just play with our metronome. 2, 3, 4. There are 4 beats to a measure. Now, the measure, another way of saying that, I guess, is the measure is divided into 4 equal parts. What do we call it if it's divided into 4 equal parts? Quarters, right? So there are 4 beats in a bar, and a bar is 4 beats. Hence the term 4/4 time signature. Okay? Now, this is like a fraction. We can change these numbers. Occasionally, if all the nerds want to make music in 5/4. Now, what happens when I just change that number to 5/4? You probably never changed these numbers before if you're not into time signature stuff. What happens if we indeed change it to 5/4? I'm going to insert a bar here. This is 1 bar of music still, right? But you notice that there's empty space at the end because we added an extra beat here. Now there's a beat 5. So insert a MIDI clip. Why can I not do this? I'm struggling. There we go. So now we have 1 bar, but in 5/4, 1 bar is 5 beats. So you will hear the metronome now. We get a high-pitched beat on beat 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That's pretty simple to understand. It's very odd. Like hearing that, we are very much not used to hearing that. However, a time signature we are very used to hearing is 3/4. This is sort of a waltz pattern. So now, since I shrunk it down to 3/4, quarter notes are still the basis of our pulse. However, there's only 3 beats in a bar. Hear that downbeat? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If I speed that up, maybe you will just recognize it as a type of ballad or something. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Is that pretty simple? So these are just all what we call time signatures. Different time signatures just create a different type of pulse for your music, I guess you could say. Now the challenge, I'm just going to load up a quick instrument here, like a very easy, like basic operator or something. Literally just a basic operator, just so I can play along with it. Put some reverb on it. Good. So like a basic 3/4, it's like 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Nothing scary there. If this were in 4/4, it would not feel the same. I would be holding those notes for longer, probably. Let's just play that same thing, but now it's in 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You hear how that's different? That's just kind of straight ahead, and then we put it to 3/4, and it's more of a waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So hopefully it is easy to understand that. So the challenge is 6/8 time signature. Now, if everything we've talked about now has had a 4 in the bottom, indicating that quarter notes are like the main pulse of our beat here. If I change that bottom number to an 8, what do you think that means? So instead of quarter notes being the pulse of our beat, now eighth notes are the pulse of our beat if I change that to 8. And remember, this top number here represents the number of beats in a bar. So if I change that to 6, all this means is that there are 6/8 notes in a bar, and that is now our pulse. So let me bring it slower so it's easier to understand. All you have to be able to do is count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Simple. A lot of, it can go either way. Discussed different ways about time signatures, but some modern songs to think about. 1,000 Years by Christina Perri, which is this, I won't call it cheesy, but it's like a popular ballad on the radio. That is a song that is in 6/8. If you think of Leonard Cohen, Hallelujah, Jeff Buckley version, whatever you want to say. 1, 2, 3. Let me actually play some chords. 1, 2, 3. That's 6/8. You've probably heard songs that sound like that before, actually. Very famous song, Queen's We Are the Champions. That is in 6/8. Just feel that pulse. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. You can say it, Tetro. She's cheesy. LOL. You're amongst friends. Hey, I like radio pop, so I don't want to disparage radio pop. So, are there questions in the chat? Do I need to break it down again? I'm sorry if I missed any questions, but please, we have a few minutes left, and I want to make sure that if you are feeling shaky about this concept, that you understand it. Go ahead. Lay it on me if you have any final questions. I hope that makes sense. So again, it's 6/8. In Ableton, it's as easy as changing these two numbers, which we rarely do. A lot of the times we leave it on 4/4, or at least I do. And it just changes the pulse and the way we feel the track. It indicates the number of beats in a given bar, 1 bar of music. And this number on the bottom indicates the type of beat that gets the pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, all you math nerds could say, why don't we just reduce that fraction to 3, 4? Well, it doesn't work like that. So it's just a different feeling. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's a different pulse than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. I hope that makes sense. I learned something new. Okay, we're helping. We're helping. So this would explain why my songs never line up. Maybe if you have a vision for a song in your head that is of a different time signature than 4/4, that could for sure be a thing. Feels like ballet class. Well, these types of pulses, especially 3/4, is associated with waltz, which is a type of like a dance. Why don't we just lay down some guitar and do something really quick? So like, I think like my initial, and I don't want everybody to do what I do just because I did it. That's happened on challenges in the past. But my initial inclination is to go like ballad mode. So let me just try to lay down this guitar line if I can. I hope I can. Let me get this going here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to change that last note I played to a D, but we don't have much time left, so I'm not going to stress over it. Shane says, can you count it again? Sure. And also, the easy way for you to just be down with this rhythm and get the pulse is just go into your DAW and change the time signature and just listen back to the time signature and try to feel that pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this guitar line is literally just following the pulse of the song. Makes sense? I hope. will take any final questions. I know that sometimes these kind of musical concepts can seem maybe a little scary, but I trust that like it's as simple as this. It was as simple as this explanation that you got. You don't have to overthink it. It's just a different feel. That's it. Change 1-2 numbers in your DAW, and then you are like good to go. Good as gold. So you could just get like a cool little groove going here. Let me just put some drums on the timeline. And that's about as far as we'll get for that today. But I hope that that brief explanation of time signatures was helpful. And I do implore you, there's lots of like, I'm sure there's lots of playlists out there, like a Spotify playlist of all songs in 6/8, or even if you just do a quick Google search, I'm sure you'll find popular songs in 6/8. And I would definitely advise, if you are struggling, find a song that you like that is in 6/8 and just try to emulate its feel. But this isn't so far out there, right? Like you hear this groove and you kind of understand it, right? You probably have some type of context. You've probably heard a song before that has been in a similar time signature. Right? I'm not crazy. Yeah, let's just copy that. And folks, I know I mentioned it a lot today, but if you need a simple sub bass, Ableton has one built in. Just get it there. Remember, you're counting to 6. It's that simple, right? So obviously this is just a quick demo and for the purposes of demonstration. But all you gotta remember, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you can count to 6, you can do this, chat. I believe in you. So, thank you all for tuning into this live stream. You've got 2 weeks to take on this next production challenge, making a track in 6/8. I believe in all of you. You can do it. This will be a hard challenge, but I will be very excited to see you all take it on. So please do attempt it, even though it might seem a little bit out of your wheelhouse. Like I said, running towards things that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, that seem a little bit scary, is a good way to grow as an artist, trying something cool. So I hope that explanation was helpful. If it was helpful, but you're still feeling a little foggy, rewind and watch again. I do that all the time with like tutorials and things that I watch. It's okay to watch things multiple times and to hear the same lesson over and over again until it gets really solid in your mind. So, reminder that Alina Smith's show is tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST, 6 p.m. UK. Alina is always doing really cool pop production. I do hope that you're paying attention to her streams. Like, talk about a real working musician that makes literal bangers that have millions and millions of plays out there. You please check out her stream. She's a really talented producer, and she just put out her own solo EP that I do highly recommend you all check out. Maybe she'll even be breaking down or doing something with her own material on tomorrow's stream. Now, after you watch Alina's stream tomorrow on the ADSR channel, you can hop over to my channel, youtube.com/Techno, where I will be streaming at 12 noon PST, and we're checking out a very cool lo-fi plugin over there, making some cool lo-fi beats. So don't miss both of those streams. Your afternoon tomorrow, your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is booked. You go to ADSR, then you go to the Techno channel. That's it. You're booked and busy tomorrow. Anybody calls you to make plans? No. Call school, say, I can't come to class today. Boom, easy. Call your boss, I can't come to work today. It's Thursday. I got 2 streams to watch. It's not hard to understand. But thank you all for watching. This was a very fun stream. I can't wait to be here again next week on Wednesdays. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on. Why is my background music so loud? Please subscribe to the channel, notifications turned on so you do not miss a future live stream. Then go to youtube.com/Tatro. Do the same thing if you haven't yet, and I will see you all on a future stream. But for now, that's going to be it. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Tatro for ADSR. Have a good one.